We love hip hop.
Actually, because one thing that you guys were asking, and thank you to for the question over here to Jacob Donovan also, is how much you think Boondog make a year? His videos are crazy. Thank you, because this actually brings us to the segment that I wanted to get into. I didn't even think I was going to get into this because we had a conversation the other day about a rapper who just came home. Big salute to 100 Band Plan. He had came home, and then we started getting into a whole conversation about how much money that a rapper could make a year, a Toronto rapper more specifically. And the numbers started going out like 150, and big salute to DJ Czar and big salute to Natural Wave. Czar threw out that number of 150, and then the debate started from there. I'll play the clip, but what ended up happening is what I did not expect. A whole debate started happening. People were either offended. I started getting phone calls like, bruh, I don't know. You might be a little bit off with that one right there, bro. Rappers make a little bit more than you think. You know, I got text messages, not DMs, text messages. I actually had a whole conversation with Killy, big salute to Killy, and he put me on to game. And I was like, you know what? My bad. So I'll play the clip that got us into, I won't say all this controversy. It's not crazy controversy, but it's like people were just actually very energized by this conversation. Natural, because you said sustainable living, and I'm not talking about as YouTuber or whatever, just as an artist.
Livable wage.
A livable wage. What's that? What is that?
6 figures.
Like, give me a number, like per year.
Where it's like you're kind of decently living in Toronto in 2025. I want to say like 150.
No local Toronto rapper is making over $30,000
I don't agree with that. I'd have to see some money. You don't
off
think
their music?
$150K a year?
You don't think Pressa's making more than 50 bands off of 30 bands?
Okay, when I say local rapper, I don't mean like.
You don't think Sav is making like?
I don't consider Oppressa a local rapper because like he lived in LA for the longest time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
okay.
And I don't think Sav is making $150,000 a year off his music
alone.
Exactly.
Okay. So you might have to supplement it with a little side business. You know what I'm saying?
And like I rock with Sav heavy. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Malvern out here, we out here.
But I think it's fathomable, bro.
Yeah, it's fathomable. It's not impossible. It just does not. I don't think it's happening yet. Like we even see, like when we go through the Rap Cap numbers. If you go to Rap Cap TO and check out some of their charts that they post of like the Spotify numbers and stuff like that. It's surprising how high some of these guys like Spotify numbers are, but most of the highest ones are the guys who are not even here no more, bro.
And don't you have to get like 1 million streams to only make like 2 bands
on Spotify?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so and then Apple Music, and then there's YouTube. Then you could do features. You can have shows.
But how many of these guys are getting millions of streams on all of their songs?
Right now, none of them.
None. So, and thank you for the question earlier, because salute to Boondog. Boondog makes a lot of money from being a businessman in the music industry and other different businesses that he has, legal businesses that he has. Okay. So, and from what you can see, like he's living in Dubai, he's moving around, he's him and Pressa makes a good amount of money off of his music. Attachments has been out, and Attachments has millions of views on it. Canada Goose has millions of views on it. But as far as Boondog himself for his own music, I'm sure he makes a good amount of money, probably about maybe 100K. But then there's also different things that come into play when it comes to the way Canadian artists can make money off of their music, right? But we'll get into that in a second.
So they're not even making 2 bands a month, 3 bands a month. We'll be generous. We'll say $3,000 a month off 1 million streams, and none of them are making that.
Okay, let's say they're making 2.5 off just their streams a month, that's like high end.
That's maybe like 30,000 a year.
Okay, but that's just off their streams. If they can supplement that with YouTube revenue, with merchandise, with shows, with features, I think it's very fathomable.
They're going to get from 30,000 to 150.
If that's going from 2.5 to like 10 a month, and then you got to sell some crack.
What was
okay, so Yeah, big salute to DJ Czar. Is he naive when it comes to that 150,000? Because at first I really thought he was like 150,000, and DJ Natural, same thing. He was like, bro, I don't think that's even like fathomable. You know what I'm saying? But the comments say differently. All right. Let me check the poll before we go through these comments, because I asked, do most Toronto rappers make 100K per year? 22% of y'all are saying yes, and 78% of y'all are saying no, which is a mud thing. Damn, y'all don't really believe that these niggas is making money, because niggas is correcting me, bro. They were like, nah, bro, like, we make money. Hold on, let me see if I could oh, this guy has this shit set up so he can't even call this nigga from Instagram. I was actually gonna see if I can get Killy on the phone, because Killy he hit me up in the DMs and he was like, yo, I make way more than that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were trying to put me onto game behind the scenes. They were like, bro, like, there's money to be made in this game. It's just that you don't really see it. A lot of people are not even talking about it. So I would love for somebody to hit me up and see if they can put me onto game when it comes to some of that. You know what? Let me do something real quick. Let me holler at the bro Lucas. Let me see if I can get him on the phone. Give me a second, gang. Because people are going crazy in the comments on this shit. Macadelic in the comments with a paragraph. Yo, what are you saying, brother?
Wow, just fucking picked up the 15 passenger. Holy.
Yo, listen, I'm on stream real quick, right? So I just got to ask you some questions, right? It's okay. Music industry stuff, because I had a thing, and salute to the people in the audience right here. This is T. Lucas. T. Lucas is a manager in the game. He was on the interview that I did with JMG Kofi, right? Mm-hmm. And you're actually out here helping a multitude of artists. So I had a thing where I didn't believe that the average Toronto rapper could make 150,000 a year. Can you put us onto a little bit of game on how they do?
So you're saying that the average Toronto rapper can't, but then you're asking me to do it?
No, because a lot of people started saying, nah, bro, you're wrong. We actually do. You know what I'm saying? Man's hit me up behind the scenes saying, nah, bro, we make money. We make more than that. You know what I'm saying? I even said that I didn't think Sav 4 times was making 150,000 a year. And niggas is like, nah, bro, you're crazy. So put me on, bro. Like, how are you?
Sav got paid. He's doing his thing. There is a selected amount of artists, in my opinion, who do, clear the 6-figure number. It should be more, of course. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, like, why I think there should be more. But as far as like the artists that are making money and they're clearing that 6-figure check, a lot of it has to do with the artists that don't stick in Toronto. They move around. They get out of the city, mm-hmm. first and foremost, and they go and build audiences outside of Toronto. And then once they get, maybe it's opening up for another artist in another major music market, or even just moving around, being in the studio in different markets, whether it's London or Atlanta or Paris or New York, etc. And that's when I feel like their buzz starts to grow in their own city, because it's like, oh, that's our guy. We now we'll claim him type shit.
Right.
But so that's that's one side of it. But yeah, man, I mean, as far as actually clearing 6 figures, like Sav, for example, he got a record deal. You know what I'm saying? So you go and do an American record label deal, and now you're in that conversation, man. I mean, SiriusXM paid really well. There's some selected artists that are digging in and getting their stuff on radio and building that bag on the publishing side.
So, okay, let me stop you right there, because I heard that you can get like $18 per spin if you have your stuff put together right as far as your paperwork. $40 per spin?
Yeah.
Holy shit. See, this is what I'm talking about. I haven't rapped in a long time, so I'm not focusing on that. You know what I'm saying?
But do the math, right? If you're on rotation, you're getting 10 spins a day. That's $4 bills a day.
Oh my
7 days
God.
a week. You get me?
Okay.
But again, like they're not just picking up any artists. Like you got to have some motion. There's got to be a reason, and a lot of those reasons are like from what I mentioned before, moving around, getting out of the city. If you're just chilling in Toronto, doing the same shit, you're at the same club, and I just seen you at the grocery store, like you don't really see that local support really, building around you, saying that's the guy, that guy's up next. But the second you move out of the city and you start moving around and linking with different artists or jumping on, even if you're doing support acts for a tour. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's when the city's like, yeah, that's our guy. And then your numbers start jumping back home. You know what I'm saying?
And then you can get booked to do more shows and then you get more money. Yeah,
bro, for sure. But yeah, man, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get it. There's money buried, right? Like there's the grant system's there. Like I've had multiple artists that I've worked with do 6 figures just in grants alone.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like people were telling me this behind the scenes, like, bro, you don't even understand. A lot of artists are just off of grants are getting 6 figures. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I'm gonna let the real people, let the experts talk. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, not a lot of artists though. It's very limited, man. You know what I'm saying? And there's levels to this shit, right? Like you gotta work your way up. Like even with Factor, for example, they do a lot of good work with artists from Canada. And it's like step 1 is getting registered, and then applying for those initial like early grants, the junior sound recording, the JSR is what it's called. And that's 20 bands, and that's 10 bands for music video, and then 10 bands for marketing. You know what I'm saying? Like once you execute that and you submit all the paperwork and your game is tight, then you can start now to level up. And again, you have to have numbers though, right? Like they want to see that, like, you know what I'm saying? You're at least doing like, a couple million streams off the project. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Now you get to level 2. Now you start getting into the 50K plus. Once you get to level 3, it's 6 figures automatic for the next 3-4 years.
Okay.
But again, that's a process. I'm making it sound easy. It's a process. And like, you got to be putting numbers on the board. You can't just drop a music video and your boy who has a marketing company, he charges you 10 bands, and then you only really spend 2 bands on marketing and you pocket the other 8. Like that's not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to spend the whole 10 bands.
You got to, and you got to spend it the right way, bro. Like fuck, I've spent 100 bands on one single, marketing a single. You know what I'm saying? Like you can burn through cash. So it's about spending it the right way too. And what's crazy, bro, is like the right way a year ago ain't the right way today either. Like it's constantly evolving and changing. And like, bro, like even down to TikTok now, I feel like TikTok's dead when it comes to like actually spending a big bag on TikTok and doing those influencer campaigns. Like people are hip to it. They see it and they're like, yeah, this is just a campaign. Next.
It's generic.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel organic. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying TikTok's dead by any means. TikTok's booming.
The campaigns are dead. It looks inorganic. It looks generic. Like, oh, you got another person dancing to the song. Okay, sure. Yeah. They found that on their own. Like, yeah, right, buddy.
But now it's like, all right, have you seen these Clipper campaigns they're doing on IG where, these guys have, an unlimited amount of Instagram accounts. They're taking your song, they're clipping it in their niche, whether it's the gaming niche or it's sports highlights or it's fighting or it's relationship or whatever that niche is. And they're not taking your song and they're clipping content for that audience on their IG pages across, hundreds of our IG pages. And now your song starts trending on IG, and then it starts gaining traction organically because people are seeing it in that top 10. And now the song starts moving. That's some new shit, right? And by new shit, I mean the last like 6 months, right? So, I mean, the game is constantly evolving and changing. And like, I mean, the days of paying a couple blogs, like even that, like down to blogs, bro. Like, I'm not really seeing that move the needle at all, bro. Like, people don't go to blogs to discover music. You know what I'm saying? If it's just like, check out my new song and you pay whatever page $5 to post it, you might get 25 fucking flame emojis from artists who already know you or people who already fuck with you, but you're not seeing the growth there. It's like, really and truly, it's about developing a strategy where, you know what I'm saying? Like where you're bringing attention to you as an artist outside of your artistry, which sounds funny, right? Because the days of just posting a snippet and saying this is coming on this day, that's not enough, bro. People want to see what's going on behind the scenes. They want to get to know you. So it's developing a strategy around outside of the music. Like my strategy on releasing a single, for example, is I want to see an artist have at least 4 or 5 quote unquote viral content pieces dropped before that single comes that have nothing to do with music. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's their opinion on something that's controversial. Maybe they got a funny, something they want to talk about outside of music. So now, and tapping into different audiences that way.
Show me a cooking video, something. Show me you making your favorite drink.
Yeah, maybe you're super into crypto and you want to spit some game. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, you want to talk about how relationships are now and your perspective on it, or whatever it is, and now you're cooking those other spaces, and then it's like, oh shit, this motherfucker makes music. I feel like the artists that are doing that shit, they're the ones that are really winning. You know what I'm saying? If you're just cover art, clip it to my song, snip it to my song, and that's all you're doing, bro. Like, I mean, you can see the results with what those artists are doing, man. Like, it's not there, you know.
Hey, don't give them too much game now, Lucas. Let me ask, because you're giving them mad game right now. Okay, let me ask you one last question, and I'm gonna let you get back to your life, because I know you're a hella busy man out here.
Yeah, I just picked up a 15-passenger fucking vehicle. We're going on tour tomorrow morning, so yeah, you got me at a good time.
Yeah, man. And listen, Northside Benji show is going down this Friday. What's the venue again?
Yeah, we're at Lee's Palace on Friday, sold out.
The legendary.
We had to announce a second day, so we got back to back. So we're going Friday and Saturday this weekend. Don't even come Friday if you don't have tickets yet, because you're not getting in. But Saturday, there's still a few tickets left. So definitely pull up Saturday, man. It's legendary, bro. It's his first tour. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting, bro. It's exciting for me, man. I mean, I'm a fan.
No, congrats on congrats on selling out the spot too, man. That's amazing. Okay, my last question. How many streams does an artist have to make to get at least $1,000 off of Spotify alone? We won't get complicated, just Spotify alone.
Okay, let me give you the math real quick. So
okay.
Spotify, a million streams on Spotify, give or take 4 bands USD. A million streams on Apple, give or take, is 7 bands USD, give or take. Nice.
I ain't mad at that.
Give or take on Spotify is because there's premium and there's free tier, and depending on what country in, there's a different royalty. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you get 1 million streams in Mexico, it's like 2 bands. But 1 million streams in North America, we're talking 4, right? It's
4
a big
bands,
difference.
yeah.
So, but yeah, in North America in general, a good gauge is around 4 bands.
Okay. Listen, brother, I appreciate you giving us some game over here on the live stream, bro. The audience appreciates this game because, listen, man, we watch the rappers. We just think about, okay, everybody must have like $1 million in the bank or whatever, but it's good to get clarity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm kind of with you to a certain extent, though, man. I mean, I see artists that so-called popping artists that I won't even name, but like when you go really look at how much money they're making, it's like, damn, this motherfucker's like so-called popping, and like he's making maybe 40, 50 bands a year off his music. That's not enough. And this is why, for me, it's like I feel like a big challenge that we're facing in Toronto is live shows. And you know, and I brought this up a few times in the past where it's like every city has politics, you know, within the rap communities. And, you know, and there's challenges that we need to overcome, but there's still artists, you know, I went to New Orleans, man. There's an artist you never heard of who's doing 15 bags a show. He's getting paid 15 bags. And you never heard of him. And he does that 2-3 times a year. Plus he's doing his streaming money. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real income versus like, so a lot of Toronto artists, like, man, you don't see them doing shows, bro. So
15 bands would be a dream.
It's something we need to figure out, man. I think that, like, you know, shows should be a no-fly zone, and I realize that's a lot to ask, but you know, like, we're fucking up our own money, man. We need to get the show money. There's real bread there, man.
Yeah. Listen, man. Once again, thank you. I'll tap in with you soon, and I'll holler at you behind the scenes for Saturday.
Anytime, brother. Anytime, man. I got you.
All right, brother.
All right, love, bro. Peace.
Big salute to T. Lucas right there, man. He gamed us up right now, bro. Holy shit. So I guess I'm not crazy because I'm thinking to myself, after the way these guys hit me up and Soletta Ray, big salute to Soletta Ray, she said Pride looks fried. Yeah, I was this chronic right here is punching me in the face right now. Max Stack says, if this guest on the phone is so gamed up, shouldn't Mula first be doing crazy numbers in the six-figure club? I feel like Mula's most viral content. This caller is cap. He's not capping, bro. Because here's the thing. Mula might not be as tapped in with some of the ways that Lucas is putting people onto game on how to get these streams and the grants and different things like that. But he also gets to share his fair share of streams and views, right? You heard what Lucas was just saying right now. If you start reaching to certain levels of streams, then they start treating you different and giving you different money, right? And he also said, what, 1 million streams is 4 racks. So if you got a song that has like 200 million streams, you're racked up, bro. If you have a song that has 10 million streams, you got some racks, bro. But that's 10 million streams. But that's also one platform. It's being streamed on multiple platforms. And I'm going to show some of the comments over here because people were chased. Right, big salute to Macadelic. That's a big video director in the city over here. He said it's not about streaming numbers. It's about who monetizes themselves the most from music, from shows, merch, features, exclusive drops, and then add streaming money. I knew/know rappers in Toronto who are making a solid living. It's about how you do it. All right. Big salute to Roni, aka DGC Roan Dog. He says, I make over 150K off of just streams alone, not including my shows. And Roni is gigging all the time. He's on a tour. I think he's on his 3rd or 4th tour, right? Which goes into what Lucas was just saying. Right? Big salute to K Cuz. He said 100%. Right? He also spoke with me behind the scenes, said, yo, there's mad ways of getting money, including the grant system, which Lucas was just explaining right there. Right, so everything that people have been telling me behind the scenes, Lucas literally confirmed on this phone call right here. All right, so I really appreciate him picking up for that. All right, there's a couple of long ones over here. Right, Underground Nation Pod, and big salute to Underground Nation, says Sav 4 times definitely makes over 250K a year. Y'all tripping. I actually at first was like, you tripping in my mind, but maybe I'm tripping. Maybe not 250K. That's pushing it, but I'm sure he makes about 100K off of his music, especially with how lit he is. This guy responded saying, Lamal, no hate, but good artist, but I doubt you got to be making over 100 million. You got to be making over 100 million views of YouTube and Spotify, interviews of Jimmy Kimmel, and barely clutch 135K. I don't know about that, bro. Right? There's niggas who you don't know. You never heard of their music who's making 150K a year. So you don't have to be like Jimmy Kimmel Live type of level to make that. This guy's reaching. All right? Said he don't like pocket watching. I do. Big salute to Tony Ranks, aka Scandalous. Says, I only made this type of salary when I forgot about rap and got a career. Trust me, making 6 figures a year in 2025 is like 60K in 2015. The risk and the bullshit that comes with being popular in your city isn't worth a lick of 150K a year. He landed a super good point right there. Because it's okay if you're making 150K a year if you're JMG Kofi, right? Big salute to him. I'm not talking about Kofi me. I'm talking about the artist / volleyball player, right? It's okay if you're making 150K a year and you're Havaya Mighty. You don't got to worry about somebody trying to shoot out your head back because of the things that you say in your rhymes. But if you're out here being a drill rapper talking about fuck the ops, I made him spin and piss his pants, and all that type of shit that niggas be talking about in their songs, is it worth 150K to be risking your life to be a known figure? I say no, but I don't feel like being a rapper anymore. And I used to be a gangster rapper, but I wasn't a drill rapper. So that's a whole different story. You feel me? Max Stack says, who's working harder than Roni? Who's dropping as many videos as him? That's a fact. Roni drops mad music, and his music does numbers. And I'm sure he understands the grant system. His tours, like I just mentioned earlier, he's always on tour. So Roni is definitely making 150K is probably like lowballing for him. Pause. Like he's probably makes in total when you put all of those different things together, including merch, right? Because he's probably selling merch at all of the shows. He probably makes maybe 400, maybe 500K a year. That don't make you the richest man in the world. That's a great living. That's not even a good living. That's a great living. You feel me? What are you saying over here? It says, why can't motherfuckers make music without beef shit? A lot can. And a lot of the people who I mentioned make more than 150K a year. You know, Dylan Ponders, who I interviewed earlier this year, he got the Guinness Book of World Record for consecutive releases. Not all of those releases have millions of views or streams or whatever. A lot of them don't have high streams, but the ones that do have millions of streams, and he was able to get 2 gold plaques off of his streams. Y'all niggas probably don't know who I'm talking about, but he's doing fine. So there's a lot of people who are making money off of music who don't have to worry about their safety. You feel me? What was this one over here? Big salute to Chillo's Beats. He says all you have to look at is their streams and shows to do the math. 1 million streams is like 2-3 grand, just like what Lucas was just saying, right? He said 4 grand. These guys ain't getting millions of streams per month. Then shows, if you even got any, you would be lucky to make 5 racks. These Toronto rappers are making money in the streets. And Lucas, he didn't say that. Lucas didn't say they're making money in the streets, but he did say, like, you know, not as many Toronto rappers are making 6 figures as we might think. So just, you know, it's just something that I just thought, I didn't think was going to be that much of a topic, to be honest. Right? I thought we were just going to have our little conversation. The part was much more about 100 band plan coming home. And I actually titled the video 100 band plan comes home, opens a deeper conversation. People didn't care. I switched the title to do Toronto rappers make 150K a year off of music? Now people care. So I didn't realize that was such a hot button issue. You know what I'm saying? Last question here before we move on. Jacob Donovan says, how much you think Killy makes off Killy makes? He probably makes, and I was gonna say I don't like pocket watching. That's a lie. I love pocket watching. He probably makes 500,000 a year. He has some songs that have a lot of streams on them. Kilimanjaro, No Romance, all those songs. Those are catalog tracks that are making him money to this day. He's always on tour. He's always in the right place at the right time. I think he might be opening for the weekend if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. What's this right here? Jason Bassett said, Friday, you're making all the money, right? Here, fam, you and Flacco. I ain't mad at what I make. I would love to make more. Everybody would love to make more money. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't lie over here and say that I make less money now than when I started doing the podcast back 8 years ago. Reddit will have you believe that I'm just some broke, unemployed ass person. And I'm not going to say I'm rich. I'm not. But I make more money now than when we started doing the podcast. When we started doing the podcast 8 years ago, I made zero. You know what I'm saying? But at least I know I can make a monthly wage off of the podcast, off of making content, as well as, you know, adding it to other revenue sources, legal revenue sources. All right. So salute to all the Toronto rappers out there. Keep doing your thing. Oh, last thing I also want to say about this, and I said it earlier in the stream, the difference between music, because a lot of rappers, we've had a lot of content saying, well, rappers just may as well become streamers these days because you ain't going to make no money off of rap. If you have a solid fan base and you just fuck around and get a hit song, yes, you will make way more money off of being an artist than being a streamer. Because the streamers want to have the artist on their show, because in the end of the day, the streamers, even though like a Kai Cenat is one of the higher echelon, Kai Cenat, there's far and few in between of the Kai Cenat kind of money. All right. There's a whole bunch of guys who are just having a couple of thousand people watching the stream, a couple of hundred people watching their stream who ain't Kai Cenat or Aiden Ross level. So, you know, but there's way more rich rappers running around, and people ain't going to go rewatch the stream over and over and over and over again. You're talking about news stories that are in the moment, and I'm talking about myself included, right? We're talking about news stories that are in the moment, and people are not going to give a fuck about that news story 5 years from now. But what they will care about is your song. If it's a song that they like, they'll play it in what they call rotation, whether it's heavy rotation in their own speakers. All right, not even the radio I'm talking about, in their own speakers. They're playing that shit in heavy rotation in their phone, and that could be today or 30 years from now because of the nostalgia that's involved with a piece of music, rather than what you get. You don't get no nostalgia out of a piece of content. Maybe a viral piece of content, like a moment, but nobody's going to look back at this live stream right here 10 years from now to find out what was going on. I don't know, maybe when Pooh Shiesty came home or when Mula first came home. No, these stories are in the moment, right? So it's a different type of audience and a different type of consumption. So salute to all the artists out there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen and make sure to like and subscribe.
We love hip hop.